I'm Brandon BESTELMEYER. This is Jim Miller, and this is the Collaborative Adaptive Landscape Management, otherwise known as CALM Symposium. The idea started actually with a lot of hallway conversations about collaborative adaptive management, or in this case, across very large landscapes, collaborative adaptive landscape management. And we had heard some stories about how it was working, whether it was really collaborative or not, how much science was involved. And while there's been a lot of papers on collaborative adaptive management, community-based resource management, there hasn't really been much synthesis across many of the cases that we're familiar with in rangelands. And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to get some of the folks who are actively engaged in these projects to speak together, and at the end of this process, maybe think a little bit about some general principles. So the structure is going to be 7 talks. We'll have 4 before the break, and then we'll have 3. This is just sort of a graphic here. We'll kind of get back to this slide toward the end here. But this is sort of your basic, or my basic conception of adaptive management, where we have some sort of an ecosystem response. There's some personal experiences and ideas. There's science. Those may interact. There's some understanding about ecosystems, and then that loops back to affect ecosystem responses, and this is sort of the classical cycle of adaptive management. When we talk about collaborative adaptive management, usually there's this collaborative process that integrates different stakeholders' understandings of ecosystems that then feeds into the management decisions that are affecting ecosystem responses. And then there's collaborative adaptive landscape management. And this is really just focusing attention on that spatial dimension of this process. We might have sort of multiple decision makers represented by those polygons impacting these soil bodies or ecological units in the landscape. There may not be very much coordination among those. There may be some shared understanding. This process may occur with really strong spatial interactions like fire, where there has to be pretty strong coordination among those independent decision-making units. And then there may be a collaborative process that occurs at a high level, and a uniform decision is applied across the landscape that may or may not include spatial interactions. So if that wasn't confusing enough, we'll let the speakers, I'm sure, clarify it.